Alright, Assalamualaikum.
Okay, some technical difficulties. Just a minute.
Alright. Okay,
Ah,
can anyone see me? Can everyone see me?
yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. Alright, Assalamualaikum and selamat berpuasa to all the Muslim viewers and happy Waisak Day to all Buddhists and anyone celebrating. On this fine day, we are going to have a sharing session with two panelists on the topic fashion law in Malaysia. It is my pleasure to introduce our panelists. That is, firstly, Ms. Joy Chia, who is an intellectual property practitioner. Ms. Joy Chia practices in a lot of areas relating to intellectual property or IP, such as trademark, copyright, industrial designs, IP enforcement, transactions, and many more. She also serves in many industries, including apparel, garments, footwear, and accessories. Ms. Joy Chia is a member of Malaysia Intellectual Property Association, Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, Business Network International Malaysia, which is what our other panelist is also a member of, and also the International Legal. All right, our second panelist is Mr. Nick Ehrman, who is a partner in Mazars America Shariat and Associates, and also the partner in Lawyers International Team, LINET. Mr. Nick Ehrman is an accredited mediator and also a legal practitioner and has been specializing in the area of commercial, dispute resolution, and also sports law. To this date, Mr. Nick Ehrman has been in practice for 17 years in the legal industry. And I am Anis Mali, and it is my pleasure to be the moderator for this session. So before we start with this session, I would like to remind that this is not in any way a legal advice, as this is a general sharing session and any case might differ by facts. Thus, if you have any question regarding to your situation, you may email to us or find any other lawyers specializing in the area to attend to your situation. Also, throughout this session, all viewers are encouraged and invited to post your questions in the comment either at YouTube or Facebook, and this will be attended by the fellow panelists. All right, without further ado, may I invite Mr. Nick Ehrman to tell us a little bit on what is fashion law?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Anis, and thank you, Ms. Joy, for being with us today. So, fashion law is something that is very unique, not only in Malaysia but worldwide. It's a new area of law. It's actually a combination of a few laws. It's not just one law. Combination of intellectual property law, commercial and business law, employment, consumer protection law. So fashion law is not limited to just fashion design. It's actually much wider than that. It's actually fashion, textile, apparel, footwear, jewelry, and even cosmetic industries. All that fall under fashion law. So some of the, you might be wondering what are the common issues that fashion law usually cover. Some of the common issues would be licensing of the intellectual property, merchandising, distribution of the product, endorsements. So when we talk about you get a celebrity to endorse, that is part of fashion law, franchising agreements, employment, online and offline merchants. So if you're selling online, let's say Lazada, so issues such like that, health and safety regulations, especially for cosmetics. We've had a lot of issues in Malaysia regarding how some products are not safe. They have mercury, such dangerous ingredients such like that, and also issues with manufacturers. So whether you're doing garments or doing cosmetic products, uh, legal issues with your manufacturers. So in a nutshell, that is what fashion law is.
Thank you, Mr. Nick Ehrman. So, talking about the fashion industry, creativity is the most important trait as this is where the ideas come. So, Miss Joy, can you please address to us whether ideas shared between parties may be protected through the intellectual property system? How can ideas or designs be protected after proposal of ideas and projects or meetings between parties? How are these ideas protected?
Sure, Anis. Well, you mentioned about ideas. So just for your information, ideas are generally not protected under intellectual property unless it is expressly created under any of the four types of intellectual property. These are the trademark, copyright, patent, or even industrial design. So for basic protection, if let's say you have an idea and you want to protect your own idea, I think one of the easiest ways is you can consider to draft a NDA, or we call it a non-disclosure agreement, or any other customized agreement, which I think Nick, you can certainly assist on this.
Yes, yes, I can.
Thank you for the enlightenment, Ms. Joy. So as you said before, ideas generally are not protected unless they are under a few circumstances which you have mentioned before, or when it's included in an agreement between parties to not disclose. So besides that, we are interested to know what kind of designs can be protected. Can I, for example, create a floral or an abstract design which may be common and register it as an IP? What kind of designs can be protected and registered as IP? Can you address that, Ms. Joy?
Okay. If a design, if you want to protect a design, you must, first of all, you must have a unique impression on your fashion product. For example, if just now you mentioned about the floral design, so a floral pattern is the pattern itself is not sufficient to qualify under a design protection unless it is visually different from a pre-known design. So first of all, you must have a unique impression. Secondly, you probably need to have a visually different compared to any other earlier design. Also, for your information, if you want to qualify under a design protection, your design must be new in Malaysia or elsewhere. So the definition of new is something whereby you cannot disclose to the public. So I get that, you know, fashion house owner, they are very excited. They want to share the new design to their customers, to the fans. But bear in mind, if you want to protect your own design, it is best to, you know, do some sort of go through the legal protection before you expose to the public. Otherwise, if later you want to protect your design, which has already been exposed, then it is not considered as new. So this may complicate your application journey later on.
Thank you for the enlightenment, Ms. Jolie. Now, as registering for IP, of course, will have its own cost to do so in order to register. So our question is it worth it to register and spend a sum of money for the registration? As we all know that the fashion industry is always and constantly changing in fast pace and are made seasonally. Like for example, jeans today is might be in trend today, but might be so last season for tomorrow, right? So it's very fast paced. So what are your takes on this? Is it worth it to put money to register?
Okay. In my opinion, I think it is worth the protection. Let me give you an example. There's this luxurious brand called Burberry. Burberry registered the check pattern because, you know, the check pattern is the signature, and also it represents Burberry's identity. So on top of registering a Burberry's trademark, they extend the protection to protect this check pattern. So I do agree with you that fashion is fast moving and it's changed from season to season, but you must remember your identity will never change. So what you want to consider is that if the design or certain pattern is so significant and it becomes like your identity, I think this is worth to go through the protection stage. So, and also, okay, another example, I believe I would like to share on the Levi's branding, Levi's jeans. I believe most of us here, we have also have at least one piece of Levi's jeans. If you may notice, there's this fabric design behind the pocket. Okay, there's this red fabric design on every piece of jeans, Levi's jeans, and also the V-shaped design behind every pocket. So all these are Levi's signature. All these are Levi's identity, and all these are protected under the law. So in my opinion, I would think that, you know, instead of just relying on design law alone, perhaps fashion owner should also leverage on trademark law to protect their fashion label. You see, Levi's just not just protect their design, the V-shaped design, the fabric design, they also extend the protection to protect the fashion label, the Levi's brand name.
That is a very good perspective to look at, Ms. Jolie. Thank you very much. All right, so let's move on to Mr. Nick Erman. As someone who has been involved and experienced in corporate and commercial disputes, like for example, drafting agreements, can you share with us the important clauses needed to be included in a contract between parties in the fashion industry?
Okay. First of all, a shout out to my friend because I haven't seen him in a while. So hi, Talib. Okay. So important clauses that depends on what you want to do because from experience, what one thing that our firm has done is that a fashion designer collaborating with a celebrity to produce kid scarves, and the designs were obtained by a public contest from students and public. So it involves a lot of agreements. So with the from the public, there must be an agreement with the public that every design they submit, the intellectual property is handed over to the organizers. So with the celebrity, there must be an agreement to say that profit sharing and also who owns the intellectual property. Because at the end of the day, Ms. Joey will agree and will repeatedly say this, intellectual property is an asset. It makes money. So one of the key things when you have a contract involving fashion law is who owns the intellectual property rights, because that's where the money is. So if you are talking about, if you're early on in your negotiations, always have a non-disclosure agreement. What that agreement does is that whatever is discussed in the meeting is confidential. You cannot use it outside. So you protect yourself there. Don't just go and discuss, share your designs, share your ideas, and then when the deal doesn't happen, that person uses your ideas for his own business. So protect yourself. It's not that difficult, and it's not that expensive. It's not as expensive as what the public will generally say, because if you don't pay a professional like Dewey or myself, what happens is that you will come up with a lot of problems. You get your designs stolen. Uh, you may get a cease and desist letter from a big corporation. So you need to understand what I need to emphasize here is that you need to know your rights. You need to know what you can or cannot do, and you can all that is protected in the contract and it's reflected in the clause. So if you don't know what to include in the clause, seek a professional who will advise to you. But importantly, you must know that you need to see a lawyer.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Nick. I think this is why, for example, I am a people in chambers for Mr. Nick, and he always remind me that this is why we shouldn't just see at the templates, for example, because it needs to fit in the best interest of the parties in the contract itself. So can we see the questions now? I'll stop for a moment. So check pattern is the identity of Burberry. Red fabric is revised identity. Now I know, all right. Thank you. So as we talk about negotiations, we're interested to also know about the products produced from collaborations. So what about the products from collaborations in registration of IP? Can products from collaborations be registered as IP, and whose IP will it become because it's collaboration between two parties? So I'm passing this question to Ms. Joy.
Sure, Anis. So you're talking about a product from a collaboration point of view. So yes, anyone can co-own any IP, meaning to say you two companies, more than two companies can own a particular IP, or two individuals can also own a particular IP. So, but also it depends on the type of situation, and the role of each party must be clearly defined. So one type of situation is where, okay, there's this type of collaboration where one party in charge of developing a product, where another party, they were in charge in selling and promoting the product to the market. Okay, so in this type of situation, I would suggest the product maker, the person who developed the product, fully owns the IP, and you license your IP rights to the person who helped you to promote the product to the market. So of course, this is one type of scenario. If you fall under this scenario, you can consider to fully own. You don't have to co-own because you are the original product maker. Okay, and also this transaction can also be done where you file a certain forms to the IP office, But of course, it all comes back to what these two parties has originally discussed, or whether they have some form of agreement. So again, I must stress that agreement is very important. It's not that simply just file some piece of forms to the IP, then you can claim that, oh, this is yours. So it must also go through discussion and as well as a customized agreement between parties.
So thank you, Ms. Jory. So I think this is why it's important to consult with a lawyer that specializes in this kind of thing, because this will help you in lining out the important thing in the agreement, right? So, okay, if there were to be disputes arising concerning the designs or anything related, what are the options available to the parties, Ms. Jory?
Okay, dispute. I think the most common one would be, let's say, someone copy your design and they market it as yours. So in this kind of scenario, first of all, you can probably hire a private investigator to conduct a background search on that person. And also, you maybe need to request the private investigator to perform certain type of track purchase. This track purchase is to collect some useful information. So by having all this, evidence, with so-called evidence and related information, you can then lodge a complaint to Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, where they have this enforcement division. So once you have sufficient proof to show that there's this third party, someone is misusing your design in the market, you can lodge a complaint to Ministry of Trade and Consumer Affairs, and they will then conduct an investigation and also perform a raid to seize infringing product. So of course, this is just some of the options. But more importantly, like what Nick mentioned just now, you may need to also request a professional lawyer to issue a cease and desist letter to immediately stop their business activity, or otherwise you can choose to sue them in court. So well, all these are the available options if there is this dispute arise. But let me tell you, one of the simplest way is always to register your design, protect yourself first, or any type of creation that is valuable to the company. So this makes it easier if any dispute arise in the future.
Thank you for clearing that out for the options, Ms. Jory. I would like to tell the viewers that if you'd like to ask any question, you can just post it in our YouTube or the Facebook comments, and we're happy to address that. The panelists will be happy to address the questions to you. Okay, so moving on to Mr. Nick. Can you share with us what is your take on the development of fashion laws in the developing fashion industry in Malaysia?
Okay, there's a lot of room for growth because what is important here is that there is lack of awareness on fashion law, especially on intellectual property. There is still a lot of brands, a lot of designs which are not registered. So when there's a dispute, parties usually don't know what to do. So I just want to share a recent issue, a recent viral issue, where one party accused another party of copying the designs. If what happens, what I've noticed is that if they don't know what to do, they will usually vent out on the internet. So the trouble would be, it may go to defamation. We may go overboard and it becomes defamation. Actually, there are rooms and avenues how you can redress this issue. But because a lot of fashion owners don't know what to do, they end up posting stuff on the internet. So what is critical now is the awareness. So I hope, or we hope, that uh, whoever is listening out there, all you fashion designers, jewelry designers, cosmetic industries, listen to this and be aware there's actually a specific law that caters for you and assists you. Once you know that, then that helps a lot in how you do business. Because businesses that are based or using law will grow faster and will gain more money. What happens if you don't use law is you lose, sometimes you design, you don't register, you lose the income from there, you get sued, the cost of a lawyer, the cost of using an investigator. So prevention is better than cure. Now that we know there is a specific law that helps cater for your industry, look, make sure you use it, uh, uh, make sure you use fashion law for your advantage. It's actually for your own good. The law is there for you to be better at business, for you to make more money, so for you to grow your business. It's not to hinder your business, it's actually to help your business. Law is there to help your business. So I hope whatever that we share today, whatever little that we share today, there's still a lot more to be shared because there's a lot of things to cover. But at least as an introduction today, all of you will get some general idea of what fashion law is and how it can help your business. Also, fashion law is actually good for consumers because consumers will be more protected. They will be aware of their health and safety and health when it comes to cosmetics, things like sustainability, the product that you use to do fashion, is it environmental friendly? There's a lot of it benefits not only the business owner, it also benefits the consumer. So that's my take on it.
Thank you for such incredible insight. Okay. I've registered my logo. Okay, let's move on to this question. I've registered my logo or brand. I've not registered my design. Is there a question for this?
Sambungan dia because design.
Because designs are like too subjective. Okay.
Okay, maybe that's a statement, not a question.
Okay, that is the statement. Okay, so I'll read another question. Yes, from Mr. Mikhail. So between private investigator and hire international lawyer, which one is favorable among the company? Okay, maybe there's any of the plans which would like to address this question.
Do you?
Okay, sure. Yeah, because I noticed Luke mentioned, thank you for your question. You mentioned about between private investigator and also hiring an international lawyer. I think these two has to work together because each of them taking care of different areas. Investigator is in charge in collecting evidence, whereas a lawyer is responsible for helping you to prosecute if there's any dispute. So each of them has to come, they have to work together as a team rather than choosing between one another.
Thank you, Ms. Journey. All right, so now, as we have covered on the IP and the importance of registration, so some of us might not know where or how exactly do we register this intellectual property. So, Ms. Joy, do you care to share with us on where is the application to register the intellectual property is to be made?
Oh, okay. So for protection in Malaysia, you can visit, we have this intellectual property office which is located in Jalan Bangsa. It's next to Menara Maybank, or you can also visit the website at www.myipo.gov.my. So there's this official portal for the IP office. You can go through all types of intellectual property and types of registration. Of course, if you need assistance on how to go about the registration process, you can always look for myself or Nick for the assistance.
All right, thank you, Ms. Joy. Thank you very much. I think there is no more question to attend to. Mostly are just statements and all. So I think we have reached to the end of the session. But before that, I would like to ask the panelists if there is anything else to be shared to the viewers by the panelists. Is there anything?
Well, okay, I'll go first. I think I'll repeat this again. The intention of this sharing is actually to create awareness on fashion law. Uh, Designers and business owners need to understand that the law is there to protect you, to assist in your business and to assist in your business growth. It's not there to hinder you. What happens is that the lack of awareness is what makes things very difficult. Lack of awareness is where you don't know what to do when your designs have been stolen. Lack of awareness is where you have a design and don't know where to register. So we hope with this little sharing, you will go towards the right direction. You may not do everything now, but at least you know there is some assistance in the law. So going a bit further, once you've registered, then the law will help you, the courts will help you. Uh, Kementerian Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs will help you. But you need to help yourself first. Secure yourself first. Register your trademark. Make sure there's agreements. Make sure you know your rights. That's where you need to help yourself first before we can, as professionals, we can help you. I think, and if there's any questions, at least from my part or Ms. Zoe's part, you can always email us. So I think, Zoe, any last words from you?
Wait,
Okay. Yeah.
sorry, can I interrupt you for a moment because I have a question for Mr. Arsani Assad.
Yeah.
Okay. How to actually register a specific design? Designs are changing like very fast. Like if you just do small changes, tweak here and there, it becomes another design. So you need another registration for that? Handing over this question to Miss Joy.
Okay, so our Sunny is actually asking how to actually register a specific design. First of all, like what I mentioned just now, if you want to qualify a design, there are certain criteria to fulfill before it can qualify. So like what you mentioned here, you tweak here and there. Let me tell you this, our law is very strong enough to so-called like not just simply a tweak and here a small changes can qualify for a design. So it has to go through a series of we call it a criteria or requirements. If you fulfill the requirement listed under the specific law, then only it falls under a protection.
Okay.
So if let me just add on. So if let's say if you have registered a specific design, meaning to say if any third party just simply do a mirror image or change the color or do it up and down, this kind of changing is also infringement. Yeah, it's not that I change a different color or I change it to a mirror effect up and down. As long as the things on a consumer point of view, it looks very similar or at least cause a confusion, then that one is a potential infringement already. So that means someone it's not just a simply small changes, then it can qualify as a protection under design law. Yeah.
I think this goes to what Miss Joy has addressed before, that the unique has to be unique, right, in order to it to be registered. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Joy. So before we end, do you have any last word that you would like to share to the viewers?
Okay, I do agree with what Nick mentioned just now. The reason of we conducting this live sharing is also to raise awareness and to tell business owner, not just limited to a fashion house, a designer fashion house owner. What we are doing here is to tell you that there's this specific law to help to protect your business, but you must help yourself first to really take a initiative, take a proactive action to really go and explore this area and see how the law can protect your business. So as mentioned by Nick just now, precaution is better than cure. So you have to really protect yourself first. You don't wait until things happen, then only you go and look for a lawyer for help. That one, we can help, only can minimize your risk. We can definitely not helping you to solve the entire problem because things has already gone sour. So you cannot really safeguard that. So the best way is always to protect yourself first. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Joy. I think this is also because in the fashion industry, the creativity is very important. So it's important that you secure that as well because it takes effort, it takes time for you to create the idea. So why not protect them for you, the designs as well? So I think we have addressed all the questions. Other than that, it's a statement and just saying hi. So thank you for all the viewers that are communicating with us through the comments. So I think that's all. I would like to thank both panelists for being here today and sharing with us the knowledge and experiences that you have in this matter that I believe has been very beneficial to us all. May I thank every one of the viewers for your participation in this session, especially those who kept saying hi, keeps interacting with everything we say. And I really hope you enjoy and benefit from this session. If you have any more inquiries, clarifications, or even if you'd like to have this session in the form of an ebook, for reading purposes, please feel free to email us at general@lloydaka.com. And there's the link. Not the link. The email is down there. Okay, for your information, this is Miracle Sharon and Associates 14th series of sharing session on YouTube and Facebook, where we share various issues from criminal to civil, corporate, women's right, children's right, employer and employees' right. So you can just scroll through our YouTube or Facebook to check if there is any issue which you are interested in or if it concerns you. So I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much for the panelists and also the viewers. Thank you very much for joining us today. Selamat berpuasa to all the Muslims and have a nice day. Thank you.